Now that I've been using the Sunseeker X3 Plus for a couple of weeks, I wanted to give you some feedback, and I also want to show you the setup and some tips just overall general on how to use the Sunseeker X3 Plus. So, and you can see this is my base. Please excuse the garden, we're in the process of doing mulch. And you can see even just that slight incline from my yard. Let me show you this angle. Sometimes it has a hard time with that. So you want to make sure that it is on a flat surface. It needs to be in an area where there's good Wi-Fi connection. The second part of the Sunseeker X3 is this antenna right here. This antenna system is kind of like the brain operation system to ensure that your mower knows where to go. So oftentimes when it's resetting, you'll see it spinning and trying to use its eyes to locate this. So you want to have this in a location that is accessible for it at all times. I was told because my lawn is all the way around my home that I should put it on the roof, but I just wasn't willing to put it on my roof. So I was able to just kind of keep it to the front of my lawn, and it doesn't seem to have any issues in the backyard. I'm going to show you this right now. You can see if you have a steep lawn, I have a very steep lawn. It does a pretty good job getting up the hill. There's some times that you can see it's struggling to get up and the wheels may spin. It'll take a couple attempts, but it can't fully reach this steep of a lawn. But for the most part, it handles it without a problem. The other thing I want to remind you is when you are setting up your perimeter, you want to make sure that you set it up correctly. So when you do your mapping, you want to ensure that you leave possibly 12 inches of width on the edge of your property, unless you're in a spot where there's a driveway or a sidewalk and it's not in anybody's way. So that way it can spin fully around and not get stuck on anything. Because a couple of times I've had some issues where I noticed my mapping wasn't perfectly done, and there was a couple of times that it ended up in the mulch. So I want to show you also underneath the Sunseeker. So I get a lot of questions on what happens if you pick it up. Well, I just picked it up and it stops. Underneath, that's the mowing blade right here. This 8-inch blade will spin around, and it has razor blades on the edge that spin. This is the magic float. This is what's so cool about this. Do you see how it's going up and down? So as your terrain adjusts, and mine adjusts a lot, this will bob up and down to ensure that your lawn is completely level, no matter how many bumps and bruises it runs into. So you're gonna see that I got an error code. I'm able to hit start on this, and then using the app, I'll be able to turn it back on. But these are the eyes I was referring to earlier. This is what will spin around to try and connect to the antenna to ensure that it knows where it's going. It does have a bumper on the front, so that way if it hits something, it will stop. Oftentimes, because of the angle of this bumper, on a steep hill like this, it might get stuck. And you can see I already have some burnout wear on the tire because it's having some hard terrain to get up, and it'll just keep spinning its wheels. But it seems to be doing a really nice job. I like the quality of the lawn when it is mowed. You can see the lines. Sometimes, I don't know if they're gonna show up here, but you can see the indentation of where the mower was, and it does leave some nice little lines. And what's cool about it is you can also go in the app and change the direction of the mowing. So whether you want it to go horizontal, you want it to go on an angle, and you want it to go up and down. Again, the most important thing is that you set your mapping up correctly. If your mapping is not done correctly, you're gonna need to redo it, so that way you don't have any issues. Once your mapping is done correctly, you'll be good to go. The Sunseeker X3 Plus is an awesome mower. I've thoroughly been enjoying it. You should check it out.